Unofficial Therapy, it's Wahida. And today I'm joined with Max the Jeweler, better known as Trax NYC.
Hey guys,
Hi,
I'm,
welcome.
I'm gonna get some unofficial therapy today.
Yes, you are.
I'll let everybody know if it's effective or not.
Let's see. So we get started with the fact that, I've been doing some research on you and I saw that you are an immigrant
Yeah.
and you migrated to the United States
Yep.
in the 90s.
Yes.
So how old were you when you migrated?
I turned 7 in America after I got here, like a couple of weeks later. I got here actually in August, now that I think about it, of 1993. So it's a however many year anniversary, 33 years or whatever.
My goodness. And so you did go to school, you got most of your education in New York City.
I got all of my education in New York City because first grade starts when you're 7 in the Soviet Union, 6 when you're in the United States. And I turned 7 here. I didn't go to first grade. I went straight to second grade. So I skipped first grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I love your story because you're an immigrant.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like you're living the American dream,
Yeah, I am.
right? And I want you to tell me a little bit about that.
American dream is to be in the top of society, have the money to have one car, and then you have your SUV, you have your sports car, you're flying away for the winter into someplace warm, and then in the summer you go here and you're living your life and you're getting what you want, and that's what America that is the dream. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it and I'm enjoying it.
And for that young boy that migrated here, did you imagine that this would happen?
No. I had a low self-esteem. I doubted myself. I doubted anything good could happen to me. And I had a lot of, defects in my mind, in my behavior, in the way I saw the world that just held me back.
Yeah. And why do you think that was? Do you feel like it's because, your parents were with you and you were adjusting to a new world and, a new way of doing things and, maybe the baggage of all that contributed to
all
how
of that.
difficult it was to like reintegrate into the American society?
Yeah, all of that. You're coming to society. You're coming from a place of ignorance where, financial intelligence is something that didn't even exist in the Soviet Union and communism, and the mentality of the people, what's available to you, and the people that you're surrounded and how they impress upon you.
Yeah.
And you're not playing with a full deck.
Yeah.
You're just not playing with a full deck, and you got to figure it out from there. That's
Because
it.
you don't have the support that some people might have, right?
Yeah, sometimes you don't have the support. I mean, I had enough support to make it. I had enough intellect to make it, but it could have been better. It could have been greater. It could have been earlier. I could have had a life that I look over my shoulder and there's a trail of tears. Yeah, you could have the money now. You could be everywhere now. You could do whatever. But there was a lot of heartbreak to get here, a lot of lost friends, a lot of betrayals, a lot of close people you wanted to have in your life for a long time turned to enemies.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that type of shit makes you cold.
Yeah.
And, what's the worth of a cold heart? You start out with a warm heart, and then you end up with a cold one. And then, you made money, you're living the American dream, but, you're hollowed out.
There's so many things that I could say, but what I want to say to you is you're a global brand now.
Lucky me. I mean, it's hard for me to even believe that. I just keep my head down and keep going, because you're a global brand now, or you got around the world a little bit. But if you don't secure that spot, it will just go away. So when you're in a situation like this, you don't want to walk around saying, I'm a global brand. I'm a global brand. And I recognize it. But what you want to say is, I better secure this spot. I better secure this spot.
Well, how do you do that?
You make yourself a double global brand if you want to be a global brand single. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure you have room to breathe.
Yeah.
Okay, and the same methodology you got to get here, you have to lock it down. More videos, more content, more jewelry, more investments, more capital, more this, more that. You really want to have a strong fort to hold you down, because if you want to enjoy the feeling of what you have, you better have double that.
Yeah, the consistency to keep it together, the consistency to keep it moving,
Right.
because the world is ever evolving. And yeah, you might have success for a few years, but that quickly burns out once you let it get to your head.
Yeah, absolutely. The getting it to your head is dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, and I'm not. One thing that I have from all my trail of tears is
Yeah.
that I can't let anything get to my head. I got to make sure that I secure my position, and at least for the rest of my life, I can enjoy it. Okay, take care of the basics, pay off the house, pay off this. Make sure that even if I get washed out to sea, I could always lay on my couch and just be chilled.
Now, you talk about the trail of tears.
Yeah.
I want to dig deeper into that
Right.
because that's who made you who you are today,
Yeah.
right?
Which is
So,
not a good thing.
not a good thing. So, is it not a good thing though? I think you just adjusted to your environment.
It made me more of a cold and evil person. That's not good. It's the opposite of good. Okay. I recognize that, and I want to be a good person and a beautiful person and do something beautiful with my life. But it made me very, very cold. Like somebody might pass or somebody might this, and I just don't feel it
Mm.
because I've lost people, or it's like some soldier in World War I who's seen too many of his friends die in the trench.
Yes.
And then, the new recruit dies and you just take off his socks because he's got dry socks and he keep moving. And people grow cold in this world if they see enough or they experience enough. And that's how people become evil. That's how evil exists, and that's how it goes. They experience it enough, they don't care. Like a Joseph Stalin. He went to, this is a little example.
Yeah.
He went through hell. He was arrested. He had to be in prisons, and you have no idea in some pre-Soviet prison what the conditions were for a person to survive. What
Yeah.
a person would betray somebody for a piece of bread or whatever. Long story short, by the time it was the war, and they captured the Nazis captured his son, he wouldn't trade his son for a Nazi general. He captured a Nazi general or a Nazi corporal or somebody, and they captured his son. And they're like, okay, we'll give you your son for this. He said, no,
Yeah.
my son is just a lower rank. You're not trading him. Left his son out there to die. So Steele, he's called him Stalin, because cold-hearted. And, life experiences made him that way. Enough tough life experiences. And then you have to warm up your own heart, and that might take time, and I'm going to try to do that by the grace of God. But
I mean, the fact that you're still talking about God says that you're not as cold as you think. But I do believe that there is a reason why all of this happened. Can you think about the first time that you started recognizing that you were getting colder?
it happened gradually over a number of years. It really happened when, the most of it really happened when, one of my friends that, came back after 10 years of being a loser, was embezzling more money, and then I lost that, and I had to turn on him, and then another one, and then, this other girl that turned into shit, and, a bunch of shit. And
Yeah.
it's not really
It's
fun
like a
to look.
trail, like it's a trail of, like you said, tears.
It's a one thing led to another,
Yeah.
Bad things breed bad things, good things breed good things. But, here it is. Listen, I lived it, I experienced it. I lost, a little bit of my health. I wasn't able to take care of myself properly, to time with my parents, whatever the hell it is. But if I could impart that knowledge for the future and prevent it for the people to come,
Yes.
then it's worth it.
Yes. So talk to me about your parents.
Yeah.
What
Right.
was it like growing up with them?
What was it like growing up with them? Well, my father was Muslim, my mother was Jewish.
Oh, interesting.
They came from different worlds.
Wow.
They tried their best to mesh, but making a relationship and figuring all these things out, they didn't really know how to do it. They came from two different worlds where the expectation, you learn about relationships from your parents.
Yeah.
You see how they have a relationship, and then you impress upon that to someone else. One time, I had a girlfriend that, her mother was in charge of her father. She was the boss coming up with the ideas, and she was dumb as a rock, but she's, the big boss or whatever the fuck. And, she thought she was going to do that with me.
Yeah.
But that's because that relationship is in their head. That's what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So and I don't know how it was for my parents, but culturally, the divide in here and there,
So
they did their best.
so there was a religious divide with your family.
Yeah, but they weren't religious. It's just a cultural divide. It's just the religion is really a proxy for a background.
Yeah.
Where you're coming from. Nobody makes up their own religion. They adopt it
Yeah.
from their environment.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that people are coming from a different environment with different expectations. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Some people are from Asia and some people are from here, Europe, and then an Asian and a European
And they intermarry.
And they might work fine if the expectations align, even though the cultures are slightly different.
Correct. I mean, my parents, they were different religions, and my father was an atheist and my mother was super religious.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked fine somehow.
Yeah, they complemented one another in some way. Sometimes you have this deficit here and there's so it's very interesting how all that plays out,
But as a child growing up and seeing that, do you feel like your parents prepared you for what was ahead?
Yeah, I mean,
Do you
they
feel
did
like
their,
they
listen,
nurtured you?
they came, they packed their bags from Azerbaijan, from Baku, got on a plane, went to Moscow for a month, came to the U.S., had to learn English. My mother had to do this, had to do that, try to maintain a quality of life, buy me a computer. I want the internet. I want a video game. I need a new pair of sneakers. They did the best they could.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They did the best they could to keep it going. And, that was enough for me to go and survive and make money. So
I obviously feel like they did a great job,
yeah.
because most parents, they want their kids to be successful. So no matter what happens, no matter what turmoil or whatever you have to overcome as a child, they're happy to see that you're a successful man.
Yeah.
That is kind of commanding certain things in your field.
Yep, I'm gonna take my pops to France on the 7th of September for 10 days. Gonna get on a flight and business class, comfortable, restaurant in the sky, stay at nice hotels, get a nice car, tour through France. Enjoy things we never could enjoy. Back in the day. Back in the day when I was growing up, you go to the park. You know what I'm saying? You'd watch TV.
Low cost events or activities, right?
Low cost activities, which you could afford, what you can do. There was no, okay, we're going to go take a trip and do this and do that. And my mother tried to do all that. The people that tried their best, they deserve their peace, they deserve their happiness. They were honest, hardworking people. They never stole. They were never crooks.
I love that. Talk to me about your mom. What's one thing you think your mom passed on to you?
That's a great question. I think she was a hard worker, a tenacious person that, didn't give up either. But I really don't have an answer for that. I mean, I guess it would be some compassion and some warmth. Like she was really good with children, really good with babies. She was an occupational therapist and stuff like that. So I have that warmth, even with animals or with whatever. I can be motherly.
That's beautiful. And then what about your dad? What do you think he taught you?
He taught me how to be a man, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Not what I see from single mother homes is the guys don't know how to shut up. Right? When there's no father in the house, you see the boys just run their mouths continuously, and they don't know how to shut up. They don't know how to be a man. They don't know how to respect boundaries. They're always saying some shit, crossing some boundaries, because their brain don't develop properly. Guys from single father homes do fine. Guys from single mother homes tend to go to jail.
Wow.
Yeah, in way higher proportion. All right, you're better off with just a dad than just a mom, especially if you're a man.
Wow. That's a unique perspective. I feel like
Is women want to talk about it. They want to sit here and tell you some shit. And, like, oh, well, I feel blah, blah, blah. And, the kid is sitting there going, well, I don't want to go homework because I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And, well, I want a new sneaker. Blah, 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 blah. And the mother's trying to reason with them. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but, you know what I'm saying? You don't care how I feel. And she's projecting, the father and whatever the fuck. And, your dad, I remember when my dad's key would enter the lock,
You knew.
I knew it was time to
Straighten up.
and playtime and the games are over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that gives you the structure. The thirst for knowledge. My pops wasn't sitting there drinking Hennessy or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He would watch the History Channel. And
he wanted to learn. He wanted to know things.
yeah, read the paper, and that drove a thirst for knowledge.
Yeah.
Which really had an impact on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Gave me these structures on how to fight and be a man.
I will say that my opinion is that a man is very important in the household. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a father.
Okay.
Because sometimes, fathers die.
Yes.
Or things happen where they're not there.
Yeah.
But it could be a grandfather. It could be an uncle.
Yeah.
Just male figures are very important in every kid's development.
Yes. You have to perceive the behaviors, see what's going on, and have it impress upon your mind. That's very important.
And I think men and women bring different energies, right?
Absolutely.
So a child needs both energies to be successful.
Right.
You need the discipline that a man gives.
Right.
You need the strength. You need the, sometimes the aloofness that you don't really care that much to be successful.
Yeah.
In terms of like how other people respond to you, that you have a goal and you set out to accomplish your goal. Women, we give a lot of feminine energy, and it's all compassion and love. You can't have too much of either.
Right.
To be successful, you have to have a nice balance.
Correct.
Right?
Because listen, that's why nature designed it this way. If you didn't need one or the other, that would have been resolved by nature itself. But nature decided to divide that down the middle and play this little game.
Now I'm looking at this ring that you have
Right.
on. It's beautiful.
It's the logo of the company.
I love it.
Yeah.
So talk to me about your branding and, just your designs.
Right.
What makes it unique?
Well, the way I build my business is by building a team. Fuck jewelry. You want to build up people. Okay? And if you have the right people in your organization, that's where you build from there. That's Steve Jobs when he made the iPhone, but he made the people that made the iPhone first. So
you're only as good as your team.
Yeah. I mean, in real business and on a high level, if you don't know how to deal with reality, first you got to deal with the reality to deal with the other person, because the other person is in the world. And if you can't get to communicate with them and get to them and be able to work out the money and the numbers and the this and the that with that other person and be in the same wavelength, you can't work with them.
That's right.
And you can't have a team that way. Some people are so lost and so disconnected that sure, they could get drunk, pop pills with a person, have a party, but they can't, do business and do collaborative real efforts because they're not synced in truth.
Exactly.
So the jewelry, when it comes to the branding, there's a lot of ways to go about it. Right now, I'm with AI. I'm making a 4-finger ring, which is going to be pretty cool, which I'm excited about just to see, with a biblically accurate depiction of the crucifixion on it.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, with the three crosses and the Mary and the Roman soldiers, and
that's beautiful.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
It's Golgotha. The Skull Hill is what it was called, and that's gonna be on a 4-finger ring, all standing up with the cross. It's just a crazy piece designed by AI. That would a 3D model that would take weeks to finish and cost at least $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 back in the day. Now done in 20 seconds.
Wow.
For free.
Wow.
You're living in a new world.
A new world.
New world.
I remember how I found out about you was I always had a love for jewelry.
Hmm.
And when I would go to your site, all of your jewelry would just stand out.
Right.
And then I was thinking, I'm like, who is the creative mind behind it?
Lots of people,
Mm.
including myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to have a library and you want to have a curation of a variety of interesting things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you go to Netflix and you scroll through the movies and it's just a bunch of garbage. You don't want that. You don't want to sit here and look through 500 things to find the one thing. You want a curated collection of really tasteful, interesting things, and that's created. And that's kind of what I want to do and what I'm doing on the website to make it fun to explore. Curation is an important word. If you could curate for somebody a list of things that they can enjoy, that's the amazing thing to do. Like, some people, they might want to listen to, you might have a young person who's never heard, Queen's hip hop music from the 90s and whatever. But you're not going to give them every song and everything. You want to curate that collection
That's
of
right.
things that they should really try to experience. Those hits that nobody knows about, but they're so amazing. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal in business.
Now, I always wonder, like, were you interested in art?
Yeah.
You were, because I
Yeah.
see it in your designs.
Yeah.
Were you like an art history major? Did you like, were
I
you one of those people or no?
I mean, I love art. I love creativity. I love the notion of infinite variation, and what could be depicted. Right now, there's not a single idea
Mm-hmm.
that you can't tell an AI that it can't generate that image. Before, you'd have to pull that idea out and put the effort in. You want a turtle with a city on its back, made out of crystals. You can make that appear
Mm-hmm.
out of nowhere. And now it's just literally, it's like any combination of images and imagery and things
What
and
is
ideas.
something that sells a lot besides the cross? I know that's a popular one.
Right.
What are some other things that people
What is a
gravitate to?
great seller right now? I mean, one great one is this black diamond chain where the diamonds are drilled through the middle and it's like a pineapple cut. That sells pretty well. There's so much variety of the Jesus pieces
Mm-hmm.
and rings and basically a person is trying to adorn themselves.
Yes.
Okay, they want to adorn themselves. If you dig up a 10,000-year-old grave of an important person, they're going to be there with their weapons and their
Wow.
jewelry.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
that's what they, so you dig them up, they're going to have their gold bracelet. They're going to be dust pretty much and bones. They're going to be wearing a gold bracelet and a bunch of other gold stuff.